Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and at least once a year we have an informal video. So I'm still filming on a DSLR camera, but just in a different location with no makeup on because I had a long holiday weekend, took the day off. I never take the day off from filming. Like if I do, I pre-film the week before. I had no plans of taking the week off, but I did, and I really enjoyed myself, so it was nice. I didn't read at all. I did read. I'm acting like I didn't read at all. Like I read over 200 pages, but I didn't read as much as I would usually read on a normal week and all of that. So we are filming in a different location today. As I said, no makeup, but we are doing a video that is a once a year video, and it is the mid-year book freakout tag. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the actual questions first, and then I will give my stats for the first half of the year after this clip. So the first question is best book you've read so far in 2022. So I've actually been keeping up with it this year of what my favorite book was each month, and so far this year has been Valentine by Elizabeth Wetmore. Absolutely loved that book. It was one that I went in thinking, yeah, I would like, but I didn't have extremely high expectations because my friends on Goodreads all were pretty average reviews of it, but it was a full 5-star. I read it so fast and absolutely loved it. Best sequel you've read so far in 2022. So this is kind of difficult. I mean, I am focusing more on reading sequels this year, but I think this one actually wasn't listed on my best books of the year because I read the first book in this series this year as well. I read the whole series this year, but the Book of Edda, I think is what it's called. It's the second book in the Book of the Unnamed Midwife trilogy, and I think about that trilogy all the time. I don't know if I think the sequel was the best book in the series. I'm thinking the first book is probably the best book, but, well, yeah, because that's the one I gave as my favorite book in January, so the first book is the best book. So new releases you haven't read yet but want to. Oh my gosh, there are so many of them. But the one that I'm most excited for, I really don't know. I've never been one to really keep up with new releases. I am keeping up more with them this year than I have in previous years, but it's still not something like that I read my new releases right away. That one hasn't come out yet, and there's a question later on about books that haven't come out yet. I don't know, I can't tell y'all. So, but my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, this isn't the one I just thought of, but the one that is really anticipated is, I think it's called Babel by R.F. Kuang. That is the author of the Poppy War trilogy, and I really, really liked that trilogy. I finished it this year. I started it last year, so I can't wait to see what else she has to write. But the one I just thought of was, I cannot remember the name of the book, but it's a Stranger Things book, which I love the Stranger Things books, and it is at Lucas's point of view. It's kind of set between seasons 3 and 4, and is him in high school adjusting to kind of changing social groups and being a Black teenager in the Midwest in the 1980s. So my question 5 now, biggest disappointment. I don't like to remember the disappointment, so I can't think of any right off the top of my head. I really don't know. I mean, I can think about my biggest disappointment last month, which was An American Marriage, because Obama loved the book, so I was like, he's smart, so I'm gonna love it, and I hated it. I don't know. I push the negative things away. So biggest surprise was The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, and some of y'all are like, it's a Pulitzer Prize winner, how's that a surprise? I was not a huge fan of The Secret History by Donna Tartt, So going into the Goldfinch, it was selected for my e-read because it was the longest contemporary book on my TBR. Well, I did a poll. It was between 2 books, and y'all voted for me to read the Goldfinch. So I was timid going into it because I had read The Secret History. The Secret History was fine, but it wasn't really for me. But then I read The Goldfinch, and I'm like, this is competing for second best book of the year. Like, the writing, the grief process that it talks about, and just the character development. Chef kiss, masterpiece, loved it. So my favorite new author debut or new to you, so Elizabeth Wetmore, who we talked about, who wrote my favorite book. She hasn't written any more books, and I'm like, please write more things. The other one is, oh my gosh, who wrote the book of the Unnamed Midwife? It's something Elliot, right? I could be totally wrong on that, but whoever wrote that, I follow them on Twitter. I don't know what pronouns that the author uses, so, but that author. So let's see, newest fictional crush. I don't really get fictional crushes, Eddie Munson, but no, for books, ooh, this is hard. Like, he's a movie crush as well, and the book is based on the movie, so he might be a killer, but Cliff Booth, yeah, just, he's so cool, and I'm like, cool 60s guy. Hi. Newest favorite character. I don't really remember characters. I don't know. 10, a book that made you cry. Nothing has made me cry yet. Anyway. 11, book that made you happy. Well, I have like no emotions when I'm reading, apparently, because I can't think of anything. A book that made me happy. Do we know? No, we don't. 12 most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. This is another question. I'm like, I feel like these questions about beautiful book covers are vain. I don't pay attention to covers, but what have I bought this year? I like the Our American Friend cover. I wouldn't necessarily call it beautiful, but I liked it. I liked the cover of that. I don't know if it's fitting for the story, but I liked that cover. And that's a book that I bought last month. So what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I'd like to finish the Rome series by Ben Kane. Is that his name? Ben? I would like to probably read another Outlander book. I'm in the middle of the 3rd book. Then this is like books I need to read. I just need to get to, what is it, like 80 books I plan to read this year. I need to read 30 some more books. So I'm sorry that there were a lot of I don't knows because I don't really get like fictional crushes, all that. Like, that's not something that I get out of reading personally. But I am going to go to the stats portion of this video. I have my stats here, my quarterly stats. So I did slice it between quarter and half, but I'm just going to be telling y'all the midway, halfway, you know, stats. So I've read 56 books in the first half of the year, which is crazy to me. I remember back in like 2019, I really wanted to read 50 books in the year, and I think I did, but I really wanted to, and it took me all the way to like November to do that. And now it is the first week of July, and I've done it. So, and then just in that quarter, those 3 months, I read 25 books. So I read about 25 books in a quarter. So the number of pages that I've read this year, so this has changed since this, but for, you know, right at the halfway point, it was 21,249 pages in total, and then in the quarter was 9,484. So for number of hours listened, so to ebooks, I've listened to 135.82 hours of audiobooks. A lot. That is something that I am trying to read more kinds of formats, whether it be audio or ebook, which we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But just for this quarter, I've listened to 61 hours and 67 minutes of audiobooks. So for diverse reads, I've read 24 of them. So that's about half. I feel like that's good, and obviously I think that's good. So then I read 10 diverse reads in this quarter, which it was a very white quarter, I'm not gonna lie. So number of ebooks, I have read 6 this year, and I am currently reading 1, but that is 2 in the last quarter. The Count of Monte Cristo and The Goldfinch. Beast. So 7 audiobooks so far this year and 2 in the last quarter, but physical is still what I read the majority of the time. So I've read 43 physical books this year, and 21 of those were in the last quarter. So the shortest book that I've read so far is Poso Wells, which is a translated from Spanish, and it is a Ecuadorian book. And then the longest book is one translated from French, and it is The Count of Monte Cristo, and that is as I said, translated from French, and French is France. So the genres, my genres, I read the same genres every time, but we did add in one, even though I am counting it as nonfiction as well. But I've read graphic novel, nonfiction, poetry, historical fiction, contemporary, classic, science fiction, romance, and thriller. So this is star ratings for the whole year. So I have read 7 5-stars, which I feel like is really decent. It is not my category with the least amount, but still. So my highest rating, the rating I've given the most, is a 4-star, and I have given 24 stars. And with this, I did round up like 3.5s and that kind of thing, because I do give like half-star ratings. Then I've read 15 3-stars and 6 2-stars and 0 1-stars. 1 star is for books that I DNF, and I am not DNFing any books until I get to my reading goal. Some of y'all may be like, life's too short for that. I don't care. That's just what I do. In the comments, let me know how many books you've read this year. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!